Welcome to Rein It In. This is Matt.
And I'm Rachel. And this is an informal podcast where we talk to you about our travels and our food and a bunch of other crap. We named it Rein It In because we try to sort of keep our conversation reined in. But
I thought it was about our activities we're trying to rein in.
Oh, no. Our activities are reined out. Our conversation about it, we attempt to keep sort of reined in.
So reined out, speaking of reined out, today is going to be our top 10 wrap-up of our recent trip to the UK.
Where we saw a surprising amount of sun.
Yeah, it's kind of true. Well, I saw plenty of rain before you showed up.
Right, I know. But then I came and it was
sunny all the day. Yeah, it's true.
It was pretty amazing.
So just to kind of give you some background, the way we normally do our top 10s, if you haven't listened to our previous episodes, we each come up with 5 to 6 top items, things that we decided that we did while we were on our trip. And we haven't talked to each other about what they are. I mean, obviously we've talked to each other in general, but we haven't compared lists.
Right.
And we'll
it's very spontaneous.
Well, yeah, right.
No, it is.
Yeah, true. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up towards what we think our number one things were, and together that'll come to somewhere between 5 and 12
47.
Things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hit some intro music.
Yep. We spent together about 2.5 weeks, a little bit over 2 weeks together in the UK.
Yep.
Matt was there longer than us. If you've listened to the previous podcast, you've gotten a little bit of background on that. But so it was a pretty, not a super extensive trip, but we got to do a lot and we got to see a lot.
Yeah.
And it was pretty sort of broad ranging. And because you were working for that 1 week, for me, it felt a little bit like that first week that I was there, I was just in London, felt pretty relaxed, which was nice because I was.
Because I usually stress you out?
No, but
we just weren't run.
We weren't moving a lot.
Yeah.
And actually, when we moved on to the second part of the trip where we went to a couple places in Wales, I felt much more hectic.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though we did more sort of peaceful things in that part of the trip, because it was all very sort of nature-y,
mm-hmm.
I also felt more hectic because we were moving a little bit more often.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So that's not a top 10 moment, but
right.
just
it's going to play back into my top 1, maybe. We'll give a little bit of foreshadowing.
Oh.
Maybe.
So anyway, that was to just give a little bit of sort of overview of the time that we were there. It was November. It was wet. It was cold, but not terrible. Mm-hmm. It was damp, but not soaking. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. No,
it was pretty
good times.
Yeah.
Pretty good times. So, speaking of pretty good times, one of the items on my list
mm-hmm.
is the Royal Shakespeare Company's performance of As You Like It.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That didn't make my top list, but that was definitely one of the top things of the trip. It was a long top list.
Yeah.
But it was hard to coming down to just 5-ish.
So what I liked about it so much, is just that our tickets were delightfully cheap, which
mm-hmm.
always pleases me, for really, really good seats.
Mm-hmm.
The Barbican, which is where we saw it, is this sort of cultural center from, I'm assuming, the 1980s, right? It's got this cement 1980s brutalist architecture style going on.
Yeah, but also mixed with the 80s informed version of Art Deco.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this, I think, last time too, but it's worth shouting again. One of the coolest parts, so the play was starting, and what the hell is the main character's name? And As You Like It, we should know this. We've seen it 4 or 5 times.
Yep.
Anyways, he starts out with a monologue,
mm-hmm.
sitting on a swing with just a spotlight on the top of him. But people are still kind of milling in a little bit at that point. And then I think he finishes his first little soliloquy or whatever, and then he stands up, the light pans out, and then all the doors closed at the same time.
It was really great.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happens if you need to go to the bathroom while the play is happening. Just hold it, because the doors are closed, you can't leave.
Yeah. But unlike Atlanta, people were pretty good about getting to things.
Everybody was there on time.
Yeah. And you're not getting through those doors once they close. Yeah.
Man. Anyway, I volunteer at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, and so I am an usher, so I help people find their seats, etc. People are notoriously late for everything except for Hamilton. And so I know that people can show up on time because everyone showed up on time for Hamilton.
That couple next to us, I think, just like ditched their car on the sidewalk and ran in to make it on time. I mean, they didn't.
For Hamilton?
Yeah, but they came in last second. We're like, yeah. But fortunately, they had enough time. They actually got there a little quicker than they think. So
anyway.
Could catch their breath.
So, I really enjoyed that performance, though, and I really enjoyed the theater. Our seats were amazing.
Yeah.
It was
what was
a comfortable
the app
space.
that you used?
It was Today Tix, TIX.
TodayTix.com. Or probably
just
co.uk.
Yeah.
Oh, the app, of course.
Yeah. So
we're in a post website world.
Yeah, you don't need fucking things
URLs.
anymore.
Yeah. How do we flag this as explicit language? I always forget how to do that. Sorry parents. Nobody's listening
Listeners.
to this as a kid. Nobody's listening to this, period. No, that's not true. But,
we love you, listeners. Thank you. We're not keeping it reined in. I'm sorry.
No. Is it my turn?
Yeah, it is.
I'm going totally out of order of how I wrote these because I think I'm reevaluating as I go. I'm going to put my first one on the list, which I guess brings us in as number 9-ish, whatever, as real ale or cask ale. I liked it more than being number 9 on this top list, and I drank a lot more of it than 9 times. But yeah, it's ultimately pretty trivial. So the idea behind this, as I understand it, is they are actual casks of ale that are in the basement below the bar, and instead of a normal carbonated tap like we have here in the States where they it's got like carbon dioxide in it, it's big bubbles, there's very little bubbles. I think it's just basically yeast bubbles, very small bubbles. I always thought it was nitrogenated, but I don't think it is. So it looks like when you get a Guinness in the States, they sometimes like have this like pull thing. They kind of like pump it straight out of the cask that's below. So it's always about like 55-ish degrees, 54-ish degrees, and well, that's Fahrenheit. Don't know what the hell the Celsius is. But so it's not cold. It's definitely not warm. There's this like stereotype that beer in the UK is warm, and it's not. But it's definitely not cold.
It's cool.
And it's cool. And when it's cold outside, it's nice to have something that just like feels fuller. It's not like a soda. It just has like a nice smoothness to it. And even though it's cool, it's refreshing, but it's still not cold, so it doesn't make you colder when you're already cold from the outside.
Right.
It was just so good. I had so much of it. A lot of them were IPAs or pale ales. But I tried it pretty much every time I went into a pub, and at the end I was going to at least one a day just to try someplace new before we left London. I always tried to just try a different one. I only had a couple of the same go, but they were pretty good.
They're also pretty low alcohol, so they come in between like 3 and 5%. So they're
easier.
Yeah.
Well, plus they're a real like imperial pint, so they're 20 ounces instead of 16. Is that what they are here? So it's a
Pints
big
pound
glass,
world around.
right? Unless you're talking about the U.S. versus the U.K., because that's not true anymore, I guess. Well, it depends on which pint you're using. So I would say the beer was awfully good. I do miss it. That we just can't walk into a place and get a good, smooth, slightly cool beer.
So I also had pubs and ales on my top 10 list.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the pub side? Because I didn't really talk about the buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what do I want to say about the pubs? I mean, we went to such a variety of them. I mean, I think like the thing that they share in common, I mean, ordering at the bar.
Yeah.
Pretty universally. Mm-hmm. We didn't have waitstaff anywhere, right?
No, that one place in London the last day, they said they would give us table service. But most places, even if there's tables, you don't get table service.
Right,
you just go to the bar, you order whatever you want. If you want food, you order at the bar, and then you go grab whatever table you want. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So other than ales, gin and tonics are also really popular, which we had a few times, but it wasn't necessarily really gin and tonic season. I think like some of my favorite pubs were We went to a couple really like sort of old, like really beautiful classic ones when we were in London. We went to the one that was in Little Venice that had all those like,
oh yeah, the doors,
like these tiny little doors that had like all of these like what must have been sort of like private sitting areas.
Yeah, they said they were private areas. Like one of them was for women, one of them was for like particularly rich people or something. I think, right? I think it was like, yeah, like you probably had like the Tories or whatever, and
yeah. So that one was cool. It was just like really unique, like architecture.
Yeah, a lot of wood, like amazing etched glass windows,
yeah,
and like super tall windows because the ceilings with like tin ceilings that might have been considered a gin palace. I kind of learned about that on that one tour I was on because we went to that other place that was what I was told was a gin palace, and there was a lot of like etched glass, cut glass with like mirrors. I just kind of felt fancy and fun. Yeah, it was good.
One of the ones that was my favorite was in Wales, and I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was on our walk out to Mumbles. It was just nice. It had fires going in the afternoon, and it was cold, and everyone that was in there was like really old.
Might have been the woodcutter or something like that.
Yeah, Woodsman. Yeah,
something like that.
I think it was Woodsman.
That was a nice one.
That was really nice.
Although that one definitely felt like it had the edge of a little bit of a chain. Like what I've heard is a lot of pubs are actually chains. Very few of them are like family owned anymore. But you go in there, beautiful. It doesn't matter. The beer's good. But I thought it was interesting for anybody who's been to like Czech Republic or Prague. Well, I mean, Prague is in the Czech Republic, of course. But when we were in Prague a bunch of years back, a lot of the bars are basically, I don't know if they're sponsored by, I don't think they're owned by, but they have contracts. Kind of like everything in Atlanta is pretty much Coca-Cola. There are some Pepsi places, but generally you're never going to find a place that has Pepsi and Coca-Cola on the same menu. I don't think it's allowed to happen, right? So it's not quite as strict, but you would have Fuller's, which is one of the big ones, London Pride. You'd like Badger. I actually liked Badger beer, but I only went to 2 Badger pubs. But I forget what there was a kind of a handful of them. Most of them are by the same set of primary beers. You might get some other breweries, especially you might get some other like smaller breweries along with the big ones. But you can kind of choose your place based on.
And then once we got to Wales, it was Brains.
Yeah, Brains was everywhere because we saw the Brains brewery. I would have taken a tour if we had a little bit more time in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's plenty on pubs
and
ales. Yeah. What? So that was mine though.
That was yours.
You piggybacked on mine, so you go on your next one.
Shoot, what am I gonna build into that?
Jeez, I don't know.
So we were just talking about Wales and Brains beer.
Right. So the zombies in Wales. No, I'm sorry. There were no zombies there.
The zombies in Wales. Nope.
There's no joke there?
Nope. Damn
it.
Make up a zombie joke, listeners, about
Send it
zombies
in.
Wales.
Yeah.
Send
Rain it
in
at ssdpress.org.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're waiting for your zombie Wales jokes. Anyway,
Give me something about Wales. Yep.
Abbey and Carefully Castle.
Oh, you put those together. Okay.
I did. Maybe I shouldn't have, but
Ruins.
Yep. So we talked about this. I think we covered it fairly well in the previous episode, so I don't really want to like go over all of it again. But just
pretty wild.
Like I don't know. I mean it's like a cliche that America is not very old, and so then we go places that are very old, and we're like, "Holy crap, this is so old!" But at the same time, like going to Tintern and Carefully both, holy crap, they were so old. Yeah, it was really cool.
It was pretty cool. The one I would add, I don't think we talked about this. One of the things I liked about Carefully, especially, was we took we mentioned that it was just like a 15-minute train ride outside of Cardiff. Kind of a local line, right? Like we went down, we had a couple stops, and got off the train, and you kind of walk through this, nice little town. It's definitely not a village, bigger than a village, not a city. But town, there's lots of shops and, older buildings and newer buildings. Not tall buildings, but whatever. And you walk down a hill, and then you kind of turn the corner, and you're like, whoa, that looks like the castle might be that direction. And you can kind of see a little bit of it, and you're like, oh, that looks pretty cool. That's the direction we need to go. And then you turn another corner, and you're like, holy shit, that is big.
Yeah.
And
it
cool.
Really is. Yeah.
It's like straight out of a movie.
Yeah. Very large.
So I think that was one of my favorite parts of not Carefully itself or Tintern Abbey, is like that reveal was fun. And we had talked about the reveal at Tintern Abbey would have been more fun if we hadn't like parked and then gone on a 6-mile hike.
Right.
And then come back to the Abbey.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we would have had a little bit more time there and been less tired. But I mean, it was great. I still am just amazed that there was no one there but us. Like
both places, really.
Our group.
Very few.
And then like one other group, basically.
Oh, Tintern Abbey, yeah. There was only 2 other people there.
And Carefully, too,
Carefully,
actually.
yeah. There was a group of like 6 family members or whatever and a couple other people. But yeah, not much.
So, if you want to find a good time to visit Tintern without crowds of tourists, apparently like midweek in November is your time to go.
Yeah. The okay, so where are we going with that then now? Because that was my number 2 actually.
Oh, was it?
Well, it was kind of around that, like I said, walking around and just that reveal was really that's a standout. I don't know. I'm gonna shift.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go back to London, and I'm gonna go with food. Food in general, we had a lot of great food.
We did.
We had, so specifically the meal at Balabaya. I think it was the best meal I had there. But my favorite was, I was talking to someone at work about, like, they asked about the Indian food, and we got Indian food one of our last days in London, and I guess it was technically Vauxhall. And you were like, wow, that was really good. And I was like, that was the 3rd best Indian food I've had since I was here, because the other 2 I had were just so good.
They were, and that was good.
It was equal to what we would get here.
It was equal to what we would get here, yeah. And it was slow. It was real slow.
Yeah. But some of the other ones I just were, like, just more unique, a little, like, zingier. Zingier is totally the wrong word in this context. But yeah, I would say that Balabaya, which we've talked about in the previous episodes, I don't go too much on it, but I think the answer is, especially if you go to any sort of like Middle Eastern type restaurant in London, and maybe anywhere, if there's a set menu, a tasting menu, you should do it. Yeah. Because it's going to be awesome.
And I actually had specifically like Israeli Middle Eastern food as one of my things, because Balabaya was so good. And then we went to another place called Honey and Smoke the last day that we were there.
Yeah, Honey and Smoke was really good.
And we also did a tasting menu there. It was also excellent. Slightly cheaper than Balabaya, I think.
We got a little bit less food, but it was a better amount of food.
It was a better amount of food. Felt less insane.
Yeah. But we also had some killer stuff at that Baba Boom in near Clapham Junction Station. It was just like, just solid.
Yeah.
So flavorful, fresh, and this is where the zingy maybe comes in. It was just like, it had a sharpness, but not in like a acidic sharpness. It was just like, its flavor was, well defined.
Yeah, there were really good flavor combinations.
Yeah.
At all 3 of those places that we listed off. And Baba Boom has a couple of locations around London. Honey and Smoke, also the restaurant owners have like a sister restaurant. I'm hoping that maybe someone's going to buy me that cookbook for Christmas. That's not a hint to Matt. It's, like hint to the universe for the gift exchange that we're part of. And then I think Balabaya is the only one. But they were all delightful. I mean, I didn't expect that my favorite cuisine that I would have while I was in the UK was Middle Eastern.
No, yeah, that's a good point, right? Because we lived in Bowling Green, Ohio, outside of Toledo, Ohio, and that sort of like Toledo, Detroit area has some amazing Lebanese and Middle Eastern food on a level that, like, when we had moved there from Colorado, was like unparalleled. Like it was just like a shadow of what we'd had. It was really good. And I'd say this like kicked it up just because it was a little more modern, I think, and a little, just a little
It was
more
really
pronounced.
good. Yeah.
It was interesting. It was good. So what do you say? Should we take a bleep bloop break here, and then we'll come back and we'll shift gears again?
Yeah.
All right.
Swansea.
Pregnant pause.
Sorry. So I think, the reason that we went to...
Oh, is that your next one? Is
Yeah.
Swansea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I thought that was like Swansea ... My next one is in Swansea, but no, it is Swansea.
Well, yeah. Like nostalgia is what I wrote down on my list, but
Good, yeah.
but we went to Swansea because I had studied abroad there and wanted to go back, and Matt had not visited me while I was there, so I wanted to show him around. And so we ended up staying in an Airbnb that was just across the street from where my student apartment was. Like we took the walk that I used to take every day to campus. Now,
Except for we played Harry Potter the entire walk.
with added Harry Potter. That
Yeah.
was exactly what I was going to say.
Okay, that's right.
With added Harry Potter. And we went to campus, we went to the student union and to the bar on campus where we were not the only people drinking beer at noon. I should have ordered a vitamin. I don't even remember what was in them.
What is a vitamin?
It was a drink that my friends used to get at that bar. I always
Really?
got beer, but I could tell someone was drinking a vitamin in the...
What did it look like? Give
it
me
was
some context.
like... It looked a little bit like beet juice.
Oh, what? What?
But
but it wasn't beet juice.
No,
probably.
it was
Okay.
just
'Cause if it was
alcohol.
beet juice and you didn't tell me about a beet juice drink,
No.
I would have been upset. Okay.
No.
Sounds good.
I don't think it was actually good for you, like beet juice.
Yeah.
But
It was the blood of their enemies.
yes.
Okay.
No, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, if it was red.
Right.
I mean, not that it was red.
So, and then we got to explore around my neighborhood of Uplands, which is much nicer than it used to be. The restaurants that are there, it was like kind of cheap, like takeaway chip shops and stuff. When I was there 16 years ago.
But we talked about this while we were there too, right? Is like, we live in a much different food world than we did 15 years ago. Yeah. Right? Yeah, there's just been this, I don't want to call it renaissance.
Renaissance.
Yeah, no, there's something, there needs to be a disparaging word around it, because it's definitely like a bouginess that we fully buy into. I mean, hell, we watch cooking shows almost every weekend if we can.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, the neighborhood had a lot of similarities, but it was nicer than it was, and maybe there were always nicer places. I just never went to them because I was a student and I was broke.
Yeah.
So, but I think like the places just felt a little bit more modern. Like even when I was there in the 90s, the places that were there felt dated. 90s. I wasn't there in the 90s. Good God, how old am I? I was there in 2003. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So it's interesting you put Swansea on your thing there, because I was just thinking this morning, I hadn't had a chance to tell you, that I really enjoyed being in Swansea. Like Cardiff, I was fighting a cold a little bit in Cardiff, and then you were fighting a cold more when we got in Swansea. And I don't know if it was where we were in Cardiff. There was plenty to do in Cardiff. It was in this sort of like pedestrian area. There was like a bunch of shops, and it was a mall. We were kind of, I think, technically on top of the mall.
We were.
But there were all these arcades with kind of fun shops. We had that awesome rum place we went to.
Oh gosh, that was really good. There's a great place to get rum drinks in Cardiff somewhere that I don't remember the name of.
No, it's down one of the arcades.
But if you Google Rum Bar Cardiff, it will come up, and you should go there.
It might have been called like Rum and Twist and Rum or something.
They had like 200 kinds of rum.
Yeah.
I mean, and oh my God, also, they sell all these different, like Fever Tree, which is a tonic company that you can get in the U.S. So like Fever Tree is a UK company, and so they have all of these different kinds of tonic that you can't find in the U.S. and they're much less expensive. But they also have things like like smoked ginger beer.
Smoked ginger ale? Smoked ginger beer, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, and
What was the one you had?
We got one that was smoked, and we got one that was like
Some blood orange or something like that?
that was not blood orange, but it was like some kind of like bitter orange. Yeah, it was bitter orange. Anyway.
Well, right. So what you're saying, right, is that you kind of left this out, is you don't order a rum drink necessarily. They had some cocktails you could order, but generally how their menu is set up is you had 200 rums, and you were like, I want this rum, and then I want this tonic or ginger ale or something else mixer.
Yeah.
And
of course you could just drink it on its own too. But
right, yeah.
But we ended up we each got 2 rums, but we each only got 1 mixer, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of, because you only needed
so much.
You only needed so much for your shot of rum. Anyway, that was a great place.
Yeah. And there was also that really nice bartender. He was a young guy.
He was like 25.
Yeah, but we kind of asked him about things. We're not real big rum drinkers, and he asked us kind of like what some things we're interested in. We kind of, dialed in what we want, and then he was like, so what kind of mixer do you want with it? And we're like, I don't know, what do you recommend? And he was like, opened up the bottle, like smelled it, and was like, I'd do a smoky ginger ale with this one. And so it was like, it was kind of nice it made it a little more fun. Yeah.
Anyway, that wasn't on either of our lists, but it was apparently also a highlight.
Yeah.
Rum
So
bar,
where that was going to
Cardiff.
go, oddly, after we just talked about that, we did have some fun in Cardiff for sure. From Cardiff, we went to Tintern Abbey hike. We went to the Carefully. We did a lot of cool stuff from Cardiff, but I didn't feel like I needed to spend a lot of time in Cardiff proper.
It was like base camp, yeah.
Yeah. That was a weird noise. Was that the cat?
He's playing with something.
Oh, wow. Anyway, so maybe one of his fingers. But I really, Swansea just felt like someplace that I could hang out, right? Like I could live in Uplands. That seemed like a fun place. And you could, like, Mumbles was pretty awesome, although we didn't really do much at all in Mumbles, but it just felt nice. It had a better feel, I think, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I was really happy we went to Swansea.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and
That was a
so
long interlude.
it was. Sorry. So, like, I have some like offshoots from Swansea as well. Besides just it being Swansea, but like
Sure, yeah, because all mine are back in not Swansea.
Oh, okay. And so one of my highlights too was taking the bus out to Rossili Bay, and I think partially that became a highlight because I was like really anxious about it for some reason and almost didn't do it. I was like really worried that we were gonna like miss the bus and be stuck out there. Which fair, like, when you're riding public transit, like you do have to pay more attention to that kind of crap than if you're driving yourself. But it really wasn't a thing to be worried about at all. Easy. It was fine.
And we got to hear, like, teenagers talking Welsh in the wild.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
On the bus. The bus took us straight there and straight back, and we got to see a lot of great scenery on the bus.
Yeah. You didn't get too much motion sickness?
I only got minorly sick.
Yeah.
I mean,
not sick. Yeah.
I only got minorly nauseous. Definitely embrace the Dramamine.
Yeah. And this is where if we did any sort of editing on this, we just record this straight through.
We do.
And although we did do the intro like 5 times today, which normally does not happen, it's all usually just one take. We go. In fact, a while back, you probably heard me accidentally burp on the microphone as well. But if we did any sort of editing, this is where we would, at some point in the episode, splice in Skankin' Pickles, Miss the Bus.
Oh, right.
Anyway, that was a super aside. The cat is
mentally
freaking out.
Mentally, like, edit that in for yourself. Anyway.
If you've ever heard of that.
Yeah. But Rossili was beautiful. It's across the Gower Peninsula, which is a part of Wales. It just sort of shoots off from Swansea. It's to the west. And we took a bus through the Gower Natural Preserve area or whatever it is. So it's mostly kind of natural area, although there are small towns and stuff in there. I mean, and one of the nice things too is just that, like, there were people on this bus who just, like, this wasn't a tourist bus. It was just a bus, right?
Yeah,
like, this is like people who were coming home with their shopping and, getting off in these like tiny middle of nowhere sort of seeming bus stops, and then you're like,
yeah,
and then they just go from there. I don't know. It was great. I liked that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Gosh, and it's a reminder too that like, I don't know. Anyway, public transit is great, and like, just having that as a sort of linkage between these little tiny towns, tiny towns, and Swansea, in a bus that ran hourly, so you could get into and out of town even if you lived in a relatively rural place.
Yeah.
Hey.
The cat is going crazy.
Sorry.
Anyway, Rachel might be talking with her hand a little bit, and the cat decided that was almost going to be a toy.
That was exciting. Okay.
Yeah. So, but public transit, perfect transition. That was one of the things on my list was how awesome public transit worked.
Yeah, it really did.
I loved that the people, my coworkers, were not seriously complaining, but a little bit complaining about how the trains in London are just not very reliable. And I was like, yeah. And it seems like they're always just like, 3 to 10 minutes behind. And they're like, I know, they're so unreliable. And I was like, but they still come very often. So, if I just built in a 10-minute buffer on any of my travels, I got to everywhere I needed without a problem. And it was so nice.
Yeah.
It was so nice. I got to work really easy. We got into the city really easy. We got around. We only had issues actually leaving the Barbican once, where we got a little turned around, and then we didn't really have a real good route home, getting conflicted messages from the apps. But yeah, generally, it was killer. I took buses a few times, no problem. Buses don't seem like the place where the people that are too down and out to take the train instead take the bus, like they happen in Atlanta and Fort Collins. Not that there's a train in Fort Collins, but no, it was awesome. It was great.
Yeah, public transit was also on my list. And yeah, it's just, and I think part of this in my memory, there's a few things going on in my memory, but last time we were in the UK was about 12 or 13 years ago. And for some reason, my memory was that the tube was incredibly expensive. And I think part of that is...
Two things, I think. What's the first thing you were going to say?
Exchange rate was very different.
Yeah.
And then part of it, I think, was just that I was on a tighter budget.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
We have more money now. Because we did look at it. It was like, that was... sometimes it was like $7 to get in and out of the city from where we were staying, and when in London or outside, just the edge of London or whatever. And then it was £7, I should say. You convert that, it's like $10. If you're doing that two ways, that's $20. Like, we did not have $20 15 years ago to blow on getting around. Like, that was dinner and everything we wanted to do for the day.
Yeah.
So I think we took it for granted that it's not super inexpensive. There's ways to make it less expensive.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about those in some of the other trips, right? Like if you get the two together, rail card, or rail pass.
If you use the Oyster card, it's smart enough to give you some power-ups.
Transfers. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we really the two together thing cost us £30, but we definitely got more than £30.
Oh, we probably saved £50 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was definitely worth doing.
Yeah. Oh, actually more than that too. And then 2-for-1 tickets into some things. So that was on top of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was pretty good. Okay. So I said public transit. You also had public transit, but I think this is kind of yours. What's your next one?
That's it.
Really?
We've done all mine.
Wow. You have 6 things there. I had 2 more.
We haven't talked about museums at all, though. So
right. Well, I was going to say, my other one that I was going to have on here was the Olafur Eliasson, Dutch, Icelandic, something artist, but specifically his fog tunnel, which is called Your Blind Passenger. I looked it up, and it was 45-meter long tunnel with a couple different colored lights. They shift as you walk through. They don't cycle, if that makes sense. So you start at go into one color, the middle is a different color, the end is a different color.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I think you're right, it was seasons. It was like spring, summer, fall, winter kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically about that was just how fucking happy you were going through that.
I loved it.
Yeah, so that's definitely a super highlight for me was your smile, especially in the picture of our episode 18.
I did love it a lot. It made me very happy.
Yeah,
there was something cool. Very, very satisfying about being in that space.
It was kind of like what I think it was also. It was sort of like whoever that artist is, I can't remember her name, that had the thing in the basement of the mattress factory in Pittsburgh.
Oh, right.
Artists who are obviously inspired by James Turrell
mm-hmm.
and take light and space, maybe not just James Turrell, but the other people that were light and space artists, but take light and space and take it even further,
mm-hmm.
like adding additional layers of experience, right? It was fun.
Yeah.
Go back to 18. We talk about it in 18
mm-hmm.
a little more. But other museums.
We went to the Wellcome Collection.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Which
I keep forgetting about that one, but that was fun.
Has, it's a collection by a guy named Wellcome.
Mm-hmm. It's like a less creepy and exploitive version of the Mutar in Philadelphia.
Exploitive seems a little mean.
The Mutar.
It's a medical oddities
it's
museum.
A medical. It's also connected to the. What is it? The school, not School of Physicians, but the
mm-hmm.
whatever the thing is called. It's definitely a museum. It's a medical oddities museum. It has a little edge of sideshow to it.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't think the Welcome had. The Welcome seemed just a little more. I wouldn't even say museum-y because it was very.
But it very well could, right? Like,
yeah.
What did we? That was like Charles Dickens, whatever.
Yeah.
And there were like sideshowy aspects about it, right? Like, this is Lord Nelson's mustache trimmer, right? Like,
but that's more.
That's not.
I think one of us might have to get up for that. Anyway, with the but yeah, no. It was fun though. Definitely, that was out near. It was not far walk from King's Cross Station,
where we went to platform 9 3/4.
Yeah,
to buy Harry Potter souvenirs.
So that's museums.
Mm-hmm. And we also went to the Blake exhibit.
Blake exhibit. I don't
know that we've talked about a whole bunch.
No. Yeah, you can say what you want on that because I don't really know if I like Blake at all.
That's anti-Blake.
I'm not anti-Blake. I just don't really get it.
I enjoyed seeing it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Look up William Blake. And let us know in the comments if you like
really
William
like
Blake.
him.
Yeah. Oh my God, the cat is destroying those curtains. I got one last one though that I do want to say.
Yeah.
And this will kind of be the wrap up. I think is, really my number one was just living in a vibrant, living city with people on the sidewalks and on the streets, and the fact that I didn't drive a car for over 5 weeks. I was only in 2 cabs and never for more than 2 miles. Yep. Well, I guess I took 1 cab from the airport. But I went almost 5 weeks with none of that, and I didn't need to. It goes back to the public transportation. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it was these. Tokyo is similar to cities that just exist without having to live in a car.
Yeah.
And you walk with people on the sidewalks. You don't talk to them. It's okay, but it's still. You just kind of felt tied to the community or something. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed that. We didn't talk about groceries again, but groceries again was something were pretty good. But yeah, just it was really fun. It really makes me want to continue our. We're never going to be fire people. We don't really have interest in that. And the
also basically we're too old at this point.
Yeah, I suppose so. We'll just be retired, not retiring early.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I like the idea of taking a long vacation where we actually work just from a different city, right? Like we talked about doing Santiago because the time zones are not too terrible off of East Coast time. It was just cool to just exist in a different space for a while. It was a semi-fantasy, like a lot of the like main responsibilities of life were just on hold, and that was kind of enjoyable. I was still working, but I was probably working like 3/4 of the things I would normally do. My days were full. I was actually still working like 9-hour days or whatever, but it was just a little different. And that was really awesome. I would highly recommend anybody who's thinking about doing something like that. Like, if you want to really dive in, it's level 2, at least, I think, is to look at just temporarily relocating to another city for a while. Get someone from trusted house sitters to hang out in your house. Talk to some friends who might be academics or something, or grad students who like are looking for a place to live for a month during the summer.
I think there's like a one of my friends, and like I don't know anything about this, but one of my friends stayed in Paris for 3 months on something that she found on some sort of sabbatical website. So people who are academics who are on sabbatical who are looking for people to house sit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
So
yeah,
so that, and I don't know if she paid rent or not or what, but I think that there's like options out there for finding furnished housing.
Right. Yeah.
Where like you don't she didn't have to like pet sit to be there, and they let her bring a pet, in fact.
Right. And of course, this is all under the umbrella of that we are in a position where we can do this, right? My work paid for my rent for a month, so we weren't paying 2 rents, right? If you're renting, like look at doing a gap on your lease or something like that. If that's something that interests you, right? Yeah. But it could be fun. All right. So we're going to wrap up, but we were going to talk really quick about, we're wrapping up season 1.
Season 1.
Yeah.
2019. We started in New York. We ended in...
Yeah, we technically started in 2018, but still, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we ended in London / Atlanta, talking about London.
Yep.
And the UK.
And we'll come back in probably January with a new episode. We were thinking about doing a top 10 on our favorite meals, but it might be something entirely different. We'll see. We've also got our friends Brian and Sarah and their Animal Vegetable Marital podcast. They've had a long hiatus with a lot of stuff going on, but they're about to put out a new episode in the next few months. We should be on one of theirs, so we might have them on ours next season. What else do you think we're going to do?
We have forthcoming in the year. I know that I'm going to Nashville, so we can do a Nashville episode. That would be fun.
Yeah.
We can do a West Virginia episode.
Yeah. A Cincinnati episode.
Cincinnati, maybe.
Right. So this year, 2019, we traveled a lot. I was out of the country for 8 weeks somehow. Never imagined that would happen. Next year, with some new job responsibilities and different things going on, we're going to be focusing more on more smaller trips.
Yeah.
I think, and we will be in the U.S. for I think the whole time, most likely. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
You never know.
We'll see what happens next Christmas.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Yep. Have a great holidays, great New Year.
And we'll see you in 2020 for season 2.
Thanks. You can check us out at anchor.fm/rainitin. That's spelled REINITIN, all one word, no spaces, and you can leave us a message there. You can also follow us at Instagram at rainitin_podcast or email us at rainitin@ssdpress.org, also spelled REINITIN at ssdpress.org. Thanks again to all of our friends and family for all the support and for putting up with us. Have a great day.